Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
At midnight, when the party was supposed to have finished,
Well, at 11 o'clock, the party is shutting down.
Right.
The music stops. We still have the guests.
Then the party went over. In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Quinn Flagg claims he made an agreement with his neighbor to keep quiet about her parties. However, he never got what he was promised. Mr. Flagg is suing party planner Jamie McGuire for $700. Ms. McGuire claims the plaintiff broke their agreement when he called the cops instead of her first.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Flagg, you're suing Ms. McGuire for $700. She's countersuing for $1,000 over the property that Ms. McGuire occupies and has these parties. I'm actually going to start with you. What's the deal with the parties?
I have weddings on my property. I bought my property about 5 years ago.
Is it just weddings, or is it just
It's
mostly
primarily weddings. I might do a couple of anniversaries or birthdays, but I would have to say 97% of everything I do is weddings.
And on average, how many people are we talking about that come to your...
My yard will only accommodate between 100 and 120 people.
Only? That's... most people can't say that. You must have a large piece of land that allows you to
I have
that.
about an acre.
You have an acre. And, sir, you live next to her.
Our properties back onto each other, Your Honor.
They back onto each other. And the issue was you were not happy with her having these social events.
That's correct, Your Honor.
How long did you live at your...
I've been there for 20 years.
I take it when Ms. McGuire first moved there, if you've been there for 20 years, were the parties taking place immediately, or did this happen year 3, 4, 5?
Well, if I could explain what
Yes,
actually took place.
Okay.
As I say, I've been living there for 20 years. Ms. McGuire moved in around 5 years ago. And, you know, we initially got on pretty well. And then she started to renovate the back, because the people that lived there before had let it overgrow, and it was pretty, you know.
So she did some improvements to the property.
She made some improvements.
And
now,
these improvements, did you receive the benefit of being able to view these improvements?
Not really, but the improvements actually caused quite a lot of noise and so forth anyway. So that
the noise didn't come from the improvements. The noise came from the activities that were taking place.
Well, no, this is before the activities. So she had
you're talking about the construction noise.
Correct, yes.
I see.
That was a while.
Right.
But so that was the first minor irritation.
And how long did that construction noise take place?
I think it probably lasted about 6 months to a year.
Did you ever complain to her about the construction noise?
Well, I couldn't really complain because she was doing construction.
You could say, you know, when is this going to be over? This is impacting the quiet and enjoyment of my property.
Well, that is correct, but
that never came up.
I'm very patient.
Okay, that's good to know. You're very patient. All right, that construction ends. Was there a lull in time before these parties started taking place, or were they taking place immediately after the construction?
They took place immediately after the construction, Your Honor.
You've been doing these parties now for a few years then?
Yes, I have.
All right. And at one point it became such a problem for you that you told her, you got to stop this.
It was a problem. As I say, I go to bed fairly early, and of course the parties would go on to at least 11.
Is that true?
They were quite loud.
Yes, that is true.
What was the time cutoff?
11 o'clock.
All right. Would they go beyond 11?
The party goers are
I just
still
need
there.
to know
There's
the
no
party,
bands.
Was the parties
Your
continuing?
Honor, they did go on beyond
Sometimes.
11.
Yes.
All
And
right.
in fact, I have to say
11 is established based on what? Why 11? Why not 10?
Because
Why not
That's
12?
the city ordinance.
The
The city says you're both in an agreement. No parties after 11.
No excessive noise.
It's a noise ordinance.
Absolutely.
That after 11, that's when it kicks in. And you're saying that beyond 11, you would still hear noise.
Well, that's correct.
Okay, let's talk about that.
So what happened was we initially came to an agreement that because she wanted to obviously try to keep me happy as her neighbour, which was a very nice thing to do, she offered to pay me $350, Your Honor, each time these parties were to take place.
Is that true?
As a
That
good,
is true
as a goodwill
after an
payment.
event. It was after an incident occurred.
What was the incident?
Well,
I had a party. I had a wedding at my home.
Yes.
In the middle of their vows. It's dead silent. There's nothing but the two of them. He comes with his radio going and decides to make an extreme amount of noise by trimming the hedges that moment that they were saying their vows.
How dare him?
Coming up on America's Court.
Okay.
at midnight, when the party was supposed to have finished,
Well, at 11 o'clock, the party is shutting down.
right.
The music stops. We still have the guests.
Then the party went over.
And later,
Why are you going online pricing tires?
Because he emailed me several times in regards to this price for $200.
You promised.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Quinn Flagg, who is suing party planner Jamie Maguire for $700.
How dare him on his own property go out and trim his
Your Honor.
own bushes?
Well, that's
Who
how
does he think he is?
That's how I feel about him telling me I can't have parties on my own property.
Okay, and when he started trimming those hedges, you had an attitude about it. Because
Well-
if you saw a ceremony going on,
I did have some friends coming to see the house the next day, so I
next day,
noticed that
why in the
hedges.
moment that they're reciting the vows, I'm going to go out and cut my hedges?
Well, I didn't know they were reciting the vows at that time, and as far as I was aware, because she hadn't actually even told me about this event.
Had you told him about the
I
event?
thought it was
I
just
had not told him
I thought
about
it was
the
a
Then how
party.
would he know the exact moment that they were saying their vows if he didn't know anything about it?
The fence is only waist high, and when
If
he
I
was
were
there
to
trimming the
decide
bushes, he
to
could
go
clearly
out
see.
and have an itinerary of what I'm doing that day, my itinerary would not be based on what you're doing on your side of the fence. I would go, I'm going to go to the store, and maybe I'll, do some cleaning, and then I'm going to go outside. And you're saying, well, no, because that's the exact same time they're reciting the vows, but he didn't know the vows were being recited, correct?
When the fence is this high, you can see.
If someone had dictated for you when you can go about the things you want to do about your day, how would you like it?
I wouldn't like it very much at all.
And boom goes the dynamite.
But again, I have
No, but
my life to
when
live
you
as well.
But something, you negate it.
We
You're
had an
saying,
agreement.
I wouldn't like it. He's saying, okay, let's have mutual respect.
I paid him to like it, $350
there
an
we
event.
go. You said, I know how I'll resolve this, which is a very
Absolutely.
smart
Money
business
talks.
decision. Money talks, and we know what walks.
Right.
Now, you agreed to take the money.
Yes, and
Yes.
we have a contract here as well.
I'll take
which
a look at the
which I'd
contract.
like to give
Sure,
to
why
both.
not? Because you're not disputing that there was a contract. The agreement was every time you do an event, you get paid how much?
$350.
Not
Your
a
Honor.
bad deal.
But it also states in the contract that if there were any parking issues, any nuisance issues, any problems of any kind, that he would contact me personally and not notify the authorities.
I see here in the email, you agree to contact me first and foremost if there's an issue with noise, parking, or other nuisances. Please call, text, or stop by so I can deal with your concern. Do we have an agreement? Sounds good to me. Agreed. Just give me a check.
We have an agreement.
Yeah. Why are we here?
Because there was one incident where I'd gone to bed, as I said, like early.
How
And
early?
I was 9 o'clock.
Stop. The issue was you all had an agreement about payment for her events. The noise ordinance doesn't kick in until 11. You're going to sleep at 9. Does something happen between 9 and 11?
No, it happened after the 11, and this is why we're here today.
Okay.
At midnight, when the party was supposed to have finished,
Well, at 11 o'clock, the party is shutting down.
right.
The music stops. We still have the guests.
Then the party went over.
It did go over this particular evening.
All right. The understanding, the agreement, the meeting of the minds was 11 o'clock, shut it down. And you had a situation where...
I had a situation at midnight. I was awoken by two of the partygoers actually on my porch. So I called the police. Then I was startled.
At the time, did you know they were from the party?
I had no idea. I mean,
They
I was
were in
I was sleeping.
formal wear,
But I was
not
sleeping, Your Honor.
ski masks
How can I know?
and black
I was
suits.
I was asleep, and so I was awoken from my slumber.
Stop. You're looking at it from your standpoint. You know who these people are. But if it's midnight and I've been asleep since 9, I'm not focusing on what they're wearing. I'm like, who is on my porch?
And if he would have contacted me per the agreement, I would have walked
You
over
want
there
him
and
to
gathered my
contact
guests.
you at midnight
He
because he is being impacted by something that should have been shut off at 11.
If he called the police, he could have called me. And that's why I have not rendered payment to him.
You didn't pay for that event.
No, I got a $1,000 fine for the event instead.
Because?
Because of the noise ordinance, because he breached contract and didn't contact me and
But
called
there's no
the authorities.
contract after 11 o'clock.
It doesn't
it's
say
a-
that in there.
Well-
that is the city ordinance. That was not
No,
written
but
in
your
our
parties,
agreement
we agreed
to
your
each
parties
other.
go till 11
The
o'clock.
agreement was I'm going to have these events and they're going to end at 11 because per the city, I can't keep them going. You're in breach. That's $350. Why $700?
Because then the subsequent one after that, she didn't pay me for either.
Why didn't you pay him for the second one?
It was the one that this incident occurred at. No, I'm not going to pay him. I got a $1,000
You'll pay him if I
fine.
say you're going to pay him.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, she will pay you. You will pay him $700. Pay the man. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $700.
I'm absolutely disappointed in the judge's decision. I really thought I had a strong case. I'm really surprised he went in Quinn's favor, but I will just move on from here and work on rebuilding my friendship with my neighbor.
I feel the judge made the right decision. She's a very nice lady, and I'm sure we can resolve our differences going forward. I'm very happy.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Why are you going online pricing tires?
Because he emailed me several times in regards to this price for $200.
You promised.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Cyclist David Thomason claims he was enjoying a nice bike ride, but he ended up injured and his bike was damaged. Mr. Thomason is suing Alan Washington in the amount of $1,264.99. Mr. Washington claims the plaintiff was speeding and crashed his own bike, so he shouldn't be held liable.
Let's talk about this right-of-way issue. What happened, sir?
Your Honor, I am suing the defendant
Yes.
because he stepped into the bike lane where only bicycles should be
Well,
allowed.
why did you step into the bike lane, sir?
It's a festival. It's Valentine's Day. There are people out there. So as I'm on the sidewalk, there's a magician doing some tricks with some kids. I don't want to walk through the kids and their parents, so I turn this way. I step out into the bike lane.
And that's where you come in.
Yes, and his
Absolutely.
back was toward me. So he didn't even
That's
see me
incorrect.
coming.
That's-
I was traveling behind him. I was like, hey, watch out.
Okay, and were the sidewalks congested, as he indicated?
Yes,
But you weren't just expecting out of the blue for him to just step into the street?
definitely not. No.
Okay. And you're saying, but there was a reason why I stepped into the street.
Absolutely, there
And
was.
your reason was because you didn't want to walk through.
The crowd of children and their parents where the magician was doing
Well,
some tricks.
I
with them.
take it other people were doing that. Why couldn't you do the same thing?
There were also other people
Yeah.
walking into the bike path as well.
Okay.
So I wasn't the only one, and my back wasn't.
Is this an area that you live in? This
I live
vicinity?
nearby. I live nearby.
Okay. Was this the first time that you were at this particular location?
Yes, it was my first time at this location with this amount of traffic. I'm new
Right.
into town. I just moved here.
But
a
you
few
had
months
been to
back.
that location before, but all this activity wasn't going on.
Absolutely.
All right. You're saying you saw other people step out to kind of circumvent what was going on,
Correct.
and you thought nothing of it as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Were you hit by the bike?
No, I was not.
You were not.
No, Your Honor.
I avoided him,
You avoided him.
and I got injured instead.
Coming up on America's Court.
Why would you be agreeing to pay an amount if you didn't concede on some point in time that you were responsible?
I was just trying to be nice, Your Honor. He watched
No,
out.
that's not about being nice.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of cyclist David Thomason, who is suing Alan Washington for $1,264.99.
Okay, let's talk about your injuries, sir.
So
Yes.
I decided to turn right, which basically had the front of my bike into the sidewalk. As soon as I hit the sidewalk, I went flying over my handlebars. I stopped in my tracks.
Were you wearing a helmet?
I was.
Did you land on your hand?
Precisely.
You have proof of your damages, sir?
Yes, I
I'll take a
have
look at
evidence
that.
right here. I have a hospital bill, an
And what
X-ray.
actually happened to your hand?
I came back fractured.
right, so you suffered
not
a-
fully broken.
And you had to get x-rays, injuries, follow-up visits.
Make sure it's healing okay.
Let's talk about the bike itself. What is this? Quest tires. What does that mean? Is that a particular brand of tire?
It is. It's a special kind of brand. I have a custom-made bike, and the tires themselves are quite expensive.
And it says in the sealed hub. Was this just for one of the front tire, I take it?
The pavement right there was for 2 tires, but the damage was for 1 tire.
When you said the payment was for 2, I don't understand. What do you mean?
He's
could only-
getting 2 tires. He's purchasing 2 tires, but only 1 tire was damaged.
You could only buy in bulk from the specific manufacturer. You have to buy 2 tires.
But I found the
shipping's
tire
included, too.
online for $20, so I don't understand.
Well, wait a
why.
minute. Why are you going online pricing tires?
Because he emailed me several times in regards to this price for $200.
You
for this-
promised.
I told you that I would assist you with the payment for the tire, singular, 1
Okay.
tire. And
Sounds
We're
like a
not
promise.
disputing that you agreed to pay for a tire.
correct, Your Honor.
Why would you be agreeing to pay an amount if you didn't concede on some point in time that you were responsible?
I was just trying to be nice, Your Honor. He watched
No,
out.
that's not about being nice. About being nice is, I hope you get better. I'm not responsible. You were able to find that tire for $20.
Yes, Your
The
Honor.
same manufacturer, Quest?
No, it was not the same manufacturer.
And do you have proof that you were able to find that for $20?
Not only, Your
Okay,
Honor.
then all I have is this one where he's saying they come in a pair at a time.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Are these the emails that we're talking about?
What you're currently looking at is the emails that I email my band. I was not able to play as a drummer. That's what I do. My fractured right hand, I couldn't play in my band for up to 3 weeks.
Okay, these are emails that you're sending out. I have no way of confirming. You have any evidence that you actually play in a band and that you were getting a certain amount of monies for your performances?
Just those emails.
Because all these, I mean, you're just saying, yo, Zach. I don't even know who Zach is. I'm not saying that that's not true. Whose burden is it to prove their case?
My burden.
Exactly. Based on the evidence and testimony before this court, the gavel will come down in favor of the plaintiff in this case. What you are able to prove, ergo, that's what you are entitled to, $820. That is your judgment. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $820.
I am so relieved to at least get $820 for my bike accident. He knew I had the right of way.
I did my best to get the judge to see that I was not at fault. However, I guess I just have to be more careful when it comes to bicyclists in the future.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.